Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to everyone. We are from Team 6 and today we are going to presenting our control system design for the variable stator vane actuation system on the GV Vernova LM2500 gas turbine. The LM2500 compressor has to work properly across a huge range of speed, but at a low speed, the front and rear stages does not match up aerodynamically. This mismatch can lead to compressor surge, which is genuinely damaging to the engine. The fix is the variable stator vane system. It rotates a row of vanes between -10 and 30 degrees to keep the airflow hitting the blades at the right angle. That vane movement is driven by an electric servo motor with an encoder reporting the actual angle back. Here's a catch. If you just wire the servo motor with no controller, it only reaches about 5% where you told it to go. That's a 95% steady state error, which obviously unstable. That is the whole reason this project exists. So for this project, we have set 3 main objectives. The first one is to derive the actual mathematical model of the servo from physics. The second one is to design a PID controller that hits 4 performance at the same time, which is overshoot, settling time, phase margin, and also gain margin. The third one is to prove the design actually works in the time domain, on the root locus, in the frequency domain, and under a realistic disturbance. Everything you will see was done in MATLAB with control system toolbox and Simulink as required by the project brief. I will hand over to Amirul to walk through the actual modeling.
To model the servo, we start from the two physics equation, which is Kirchhoff voltage law for the electrical side and Newton's second law for the rotational side. Since the motor is driving the vane leakage, we simplify by dropping the armature inductance because the electrical response is much faster than the mechanical one, and we added a stiffness term for the aerodynamic load on the vanes, which behave a bit like a spring, that giving us a clean second order plan. G of S equal 25 over S square plus 22.5 S plus 500. From that, we get a natural frequency of 22.36 radians per second and a damping ratio of 0.503. So it under damp, and you can actually see that ringing in the open loop step response on the right. Next, this is how it all connects. The reference vanes angle came in, get compared against the measured angle through unity feedback from the encoder. The error derive the PID controller and the PID output combined with the disturbance before hitting the plant. That disturbance, the stage coupling torque, is summed in right at the plane input because physically it a real torque acting on the actuator leakage, not something corrupting the sensor. Next, Ishraf will walk through how we turn the performance requirement into an actual controller.
We were given 4 specifications, and each one actually maps onto a specific geometric region. The overshoot limit of 10% translates into a minimum damping ratio of 0.591 that defines an angle on the root locus the poles have to sit inside. The settling time limit of 1.5 seconds translates into a boundary on the real axis at -2.67. The poles have to sit to the left of that line. For the frequency domain side, we didn't just target the minimum 50 degrees phase margin, we targeted 55 to build in a safety buffer for modeling error. And the 8 decibel gain margin requirement is really about protecting against the servo amplifier gain drifting as it ages over the actuator's service life. Next, to hit those targets, we use MATLAB speed tune function aimed at that 55-degree phase margin, and it gave us Kp equals 42.4373, Ki equals 547.7711, and Kd equals 0.8219. Each term does a specific job. Kp speeds the response up. Ki is what actually eliminates that 95% steady state error we talked about earlier, because it forces zero error at steady state. And Kd adds back the phase that the integrator costs us, which is what protects our stability margin. Now, Fit 3 will show you what this actually looks like once we run it.
Here's what that tuning actually produces. Before the controller, we had 17% overshoot and a 95% steady state error. Completely unusable. After the PID, overshoot drops to just under 2%. Settling time is 0.251 seconds, which is 6 times faster than the 1.5 second requirement, and steady state error goes to exactly 0. On the root locus, our closed loop poles land at minus 15.82 plus or minus 30.82 J and minus 11.41, all more than 4 times past the boundary we needed. One honest note here: the complex pole pair on its own actually sits slightly outside our target damping cone, which on paper would suggest around 20% overshoot, but because our closed loop is third order with extra zeros from the PID, the real response is much better behaved than that simple prediction, which is exactly why we verify everything against the actual simulated response, not just the theoretical formula. On the frequency side, our phase margin comes out to 64.3 degrees, comfortably above both the 50-degree requirement and our own 55-degree target. And the gain margin is effectively infinite because the phase curve never reaches minus 180 degrees at all. So, pulling that all together, all 4 specifications pass, and none of them are just scraping by. Overshoot, settling time, phase margin, gain margin, all comfortably inside the target. Next, Robbie will show you what happens when we throw a real disturbance at this system.
Okay, so to test this under real conditions, we injected a stage coupling disturbance, 15 radian per second sinusoid plus a step bias. So it's directly at the plant input starting 2 seconds in after the loop had already settled. So the constant part of that disturbance is completely eliminated because the integrator drives any state the error back to 0, right? So the oscillating part can't be fully removed by a PID, but it's still attenuated down to a 7.6% ripple, which lines up exactly with what we expect from the minus 34.7 decibel attenuation on our plot at that frequency, right? So the vent angle never actually drifts off its commanded schedule. So we also stress tested the design against a real world uncertainty. So we varied the plant's inertia friction by plus or minus 10% each, and covering realistic manufacturing tolerance and wear. Even in the worst case scenario, the worst overshoot was just 5%, and the worst phase margin was still nearly 59 degrees, so above 55 of our target. On the hardware side, we also wanted to flag, honestly, an ideal derivative term would demand infinite gain at high frequency, which is physically not realistic. So we applied a filter derivative, and even filtered, we get around 450 units of the control effect. Before this goes anywhere near real hardware, we have to make sure that the numbers needs to be checked against an actual amplifier, which for its saturation limit. So in conclusion, to wrap up all of this, we took a plant from a 95% steady state error with a single PID decision, targeting to get the 55 degrees phase margin. We exceeded it.
We solve the stability, with tracking accuracy, the disturbance all at once. Every specification passes with real margin, rejected down to a small residual ripple, right? For the recommendation, before this hardware goes real hardware, we recommend tuning the derivative filter against an actual encoder resolution, to test it for actual works. Anti-wind-up protection for the integrator, any initial control kits, so that we can reduce it, considering a set point, So, and also measuring the stiffness, aerodynamic stiffness on the PID to get the full operating range. So that's all from us. Thank you.